Good morning, everyone. It's currently week 10 after the event, and I decided to come outside today. We're doing a little bit of testing on the weather, which I'm sure all of you may have noticed is starting to warm up, and obviously we have no idea what kind of effect the nano machines have had on the weather globally. Whether the ozone layer has been repaired, global warming, etc., etc. So do be extra vigilant as these evenings go on. I can't remember if I even said it's week 10. It's week 10. Before I get too distracted, let's just move on. So, more action up in the mountains recently with the Cybrid Vigor and the regiment, chiefly led by the Cybrid Vigor, moving forward to get some sort of repatriation from the attacks that happened several weeks ago. We've been seeing a good number of dead mutants. Some have also been captured by Lord Fairfax's regiment. We have noticed a sharp decrease in the amount of enemy action happening around Mineton and in the Steelford area, which is exceptional. But of course, these pressing attacks deeper into mutant territory have forced some mutants to leave the mountain. So do be careful in the southern wastes whilst you're out and about. I've heard rumour from members of the archivists who have spoken to Fairfax's regiment about some sort of facility at the top of the mountain. I'm sure if they have any more information they're willing to share, they will do so. But yes, do be careful still going up into the mountains. The Nameless have begun work on this academy that they've been speaking about for a while now. I've had a number of messages, people belonging to my group, as well as people across the wastes, about the formation of this academy. I'm happy to say that in the eastern wastelands there has been a schoolhouse that has been turned into somewhat of a small facility, think tank, so that people can come together and work out what we're doing here, what we can do about things like not knowing how the weather's going to be going. So that's real progress. Quite happy about that, even though I don't really seem so. Lots of action around the river over the last couple of weeks. The Steaders have been sending out groups of engineers into the wastes. We know for a fact that engineers from the Steaders have made their way to the power station, and under the leadership of the members of the Vale that have been there for several weeks now, they have begun to see what they can do about getting things started up again and maintained properly. The brownouts haven't really gotten worse just yet, but it can't be too far around the corner now. We also believe that a group of engineers has been sent to the Hospitalers around the Vale area, which is where they're now living, and maybe that will help somewhat with the Hospitalers' issues with their vehicles. Speaking of the Steaders, the Vale and Hospitalers, it seems that it's been decided that the violent growths need to be slowed down, or at least dealt with. I spoke to a member of the Steaders and a couple of the Hospitalers who have informed me that a entirely natural chemical, which is currently being grown on Vale lands, or extracted from plants grown on Vale lands, has been found that the violent growths do not react well to. And so, I'm sorry, you can see there's a lot of bees where I am. I think there may be an active nest somewhere. Luckily these ones are quite small, but you can see there's one right there just behind me. Yes, a chemical that the violent growths do not react well to when it's absorbed. And the steaders showed me a device, like a weed killer sprayer, that they're using to soak areas that they do not want the violent growths to grow through. Obviously, invasive species on farms that are providing crops for people would be exceptionally bad news. Um, a lot of people trying to find the source of these tea bags that have been seen in the Lockland area. Um, I'm not quite sure why, but obviously people have been keeping themselves very close ranked about this. I couldn't say for certain why. Um, Speaking still of the river, some of the oldest parts of bushlands, very close to the banks of the river, have now started to sprout a vast amount of trees, or certainly saplings that had gone unnoticed amongst the bushes have started sprouting up. These are in a southerly direction, away from the Vale and away from the Steaders. But obviously, the wooded areas are where we are seeing the strongest concentrations of violent growths. So do be careful of that. The Vale have been recruiting. Well, I suppose recruiting isn't really the right term. They're looking for people to find a new home with them to make up some of their numbers from having sent them off to the power station. So if there are any of you out there who are looking for a home, I do recommend making your way to the Vale. It seems a very lovely place to live, although not quite my kind of area. Finally, there have been reports of a new group of not quite raiders, but certainly aggressive scavengers calling themselves the cockroaches, who have been attacking, attacking magpies actually, but also some smaller trade caravans. So do keep your eyes open. These people don't really have a uniform or a way of identifying them, so do be careful with anyone you do bump across in the wastelands. So, actually, I thought I had a lot more to talk about, but no, it seems it was nice and simple this time. Well, um, I don't suppose it'd hurt to finish a few moments short. So keep up the good work. Um, Stay safe, and keep an eye out for what differences you can make out there where you can. This is the kind of time that we need to be lionised, either as a larger community or as small individual groups, in order to make the most of the opportunities we have. So, yep, week 10, Professor Harding. And I'm not going to do this trend that the magpies have started where everyone says, so and so out. So, tatty buys.